The waves were pretty wild. But it had
Mhm.
come in.
Okay. Hi, Theo. Good. How are you?
It's definitely accessible to all of us, and it's a yoga and meditation class. So we spend about half the time doing some movement to get to settle into meditation, moving the body just a little bit. So have you done any yoga?
I have.
Oh, okay.
A couple of years.
Have you done any meditation?
No.
Okay, so then that'll be the
Yeah.
part.
Thank you.
And it's mostly guide, like I'll guide you in like your silence for 5 minutes or so. Yeah, and I cue the whole way through. So definitely grab a couple of blocks. I highly recommend for your meditation seat.
Okay.
If this is a class that you enjoy and think that you'll come to, I recommend a blanket.
Oh,
So here, this one's a yoga blanket, but you could bring any, you can bring a towel, just something that helps lift your seat.
Okay, got it.
Seat's the important part, so. How's that feel? Did you turn the block? Yeah,
I got
okay.
two.
Are you up on two?
Yeah,
Okay,
that's because this doesn't,
yeah,
because
beautiful.
my hips
Yep.
and knee doesn't,
And then,
but
you know, with,
I think it's going down a little farther
it is,
from what I started.
and without it being a full class, you could help yourself to 4 blocks.
Oh, really? Why is that?
Because then, pretty soon we'll be touching that.
Oh. Well, I don't want it to, I don't want him to rest, I want this one to drop.
Well, I know, but it's still got a little ways, but
Those
it'll,
two-
it'll drop without overdoing it, right?
Yeah, I don't want to overdo it.
Yeah.
I don't want anything to pop out.
No, nor do we. All right, how are we today? Feeling good? Beautiful day.
Yeah.
But that was a fierce storm. I led my restorative class last night at the studio, and it came through right in the middle of class, but it beautiful ended just as we ended and people could drive home safely. But I was focusing on the heart chakra, and the element for the heart chakra is air. So I'm talking about it, talking about the green, glowing, color associated with the heart chakra, and literally like stop that. They were in stillness and whoosh. Yeah, it was serendipitous timing. We have blocks. I'm gonna grab 2 extra for you too.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, so
Why not? I'm applying.
you are, but that's okay. And then see if you can connect all to those. Yeah. So when we find our seat, the idea is when we find our seat that we can sit without effort. I mean, that's really the most important. What you want to cultivate in your seat is to sit without effort, because when we come into the meditation part of the class, you want to be able to sit where sitting isn't a distraction, that you're able to work toward not being distracted by external forces, and one of them being that effort it takes to sit comfortably. So as you're doing right now, that's one option, and that's called Sukhasana. There's another seat called Hero's Pose, where we are on our knees and we stack 2 blocks in between the ankles, and then we rest our sits bones evenly on those two blocks. So that direction for the knees might be more accessible for you. That's an option. There's also the chair. Hello. So if anybody would like to use this chair for meditation, you're welcome to it. And then notice feet are grounded, but the knees bent, my spine is long, right? And I'm not working to keep it up. I'm able to sit rooted in the sits bones. So don't be shy. Use the chair if you want to. Does anybody want to try it today? I'm just gonna leave it here, so if it calls to you. And the last option is when we come to that part of the practice, you're welcome to move your mat to the wall and sit cross-legged with your back against the wall, if that helps you to, again, take that effort out of the seat. So we just start in a seat right at the beginning of practice, really just as an opportunity to tune in and be present here. But it's your first opportunity to practice sitting up nice and tall. So bring your awareness right now to your sits bones. So they're the two bony parts in the seat. And just rock from side to side and move the flesh away from the sits bones. It kind of widens your seat a little bit, allowing you to ground and root down. Then pull the belly in just a little bit. And imagine there's a string at the top of your head attached and gently drawing the spine up to find that tall spine. Soften the gaze or close the eyes, and then bring your hands together in front of your heart. We call this Anjali Mudra, prayer, the prayer mudra. It's just an opportunity to connect. The tips of the thumbs are gently resting against the heart space. So our practice, our yoga practice, goes beyond just the physical. It helps to, they call it, the ancient teachings call it yoking. Yoking or finding the union of body, mind, and spirit. So the physical part of the practice is just to move the body in different directions. To, if you think of it as lubrication, just to get the stiff joints moving so that when we're coming to the point of meditation, that the body's warmed up enough to find stillness more comfortably. And at the start of our practice, we set an intention, a direction, if you will, a guiding light for you to use during your practice today. So it could be a virtue that you're cultivating, that you're working on. It could be maybe just focusing on the breath. Whatever comes to your mind that you feel you want to focus on in your practice today. Take a deep breath in through the nose, sigh it out through the mouth. Release it. Another inhale through the nose, another exhale through the mouth. And then to join our voices together, making the sound of Om, this ancient sound that represents community, that represents something greater than ourselves. Oming is a chant, a universal chant to help us center ourselves. So after we're done oming, I'll ask that you just sit for a few moments in silence so that you can feel any sensations, feel that droning effect of the Om, of the chant. So we'll Om on the exhale. Take a full inhale through the nose. And then moving into what's called the Ujjayi breath, breath of victory. We inhale through the nose. And on the exhale, I want you to open the mouth and say, ha. Do that again, but now close the lips, but make the ha sound. So notice a sensation in the back of the throat. Places a little constriction there. So without making a true sound, inhale through the nose. Exhale through the nose, feeling that constriction in the back of your throat, and do that a few times. We liken it to the ocean, sound of the ocean, waves, or Darth Vader. But the Ujjayi breath, think of it as a way to modulate your practice, get a metronome for your practice. And then flicker the eyes open, and I'll have you come off your props. And the first pose today, bring your feet to the mat. Your knees are going to come in towards your chest. You can bring your fingertips under your knees just to help you sit up nice and tall. And here's where you really want to feel grounded in your sits bone. You can move the feet away to create some more space, but really try and root them down. Sit up nice and tall, lift the chest. And then wrap I'm going to mirror you, your left arm around the knees and take your right hand behind. And just start with a gentle twist to the right. Keep your chin parallel with the earth and in line with your sternum right now. And then with each inhale and exhale, option to just start turning the head, to look over that right shoulder, come to whatever point is comfortable for you. Keep sitting up tall on the sits bones, lengthening your spine, so try not to sit back too hard. Use that hand behind you as a kickstand. And breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. One more breath in. And out. We'll come through center, wrap the opposite arm in front of the knees, twisting to the other side. Bringing that left hand behind your back. Start with your chin more in line with your sternum, and allow each exhale to move you deeper into the twist. And again, try not to lean back, but feel as if the spine, you're lifting up onto your sits bones, the chest lifting up. Beautiful, nice job. And then with each exhale, turning the head a little bit deeper. So not feeling like that whole left side is turning back. You're twisting from the navel up. And then come back to center and extend your legs out in front of you. And rock forward and rock from side to side. Move the flesh away from the sits bones. Take your hands around your left thigh and roll that left thigh in. Do the same with the right. Roll that right thigh in. And then press the big toes away from you. Draw the pinky toes towards you. Bring the hands on either side of your hips. Gently spread the fingers and gently press into the palm. So in line with the hips, not behind. So come up here, Jennifer. Come up here on either side of the hips. Oh, okay. A little forward, a little forward. So this is staff pose, Dandasana, and it's a beautiful way to lengthen our spine. So just a gentle pressing in. Draw the belly in. Draw your navel in and up. Keep drawing the pinky toes towards you. You should feel a little sensation in your thighs. That's good. The muscles are working there. The kneecaps are engaged. And we're lengthening up through our spine. One more. Inhale. Keep drawing that navel in and up. And release. Didn't know sitting could be so much work. Draw that right knee into the chest and step it over your left leg, keeping the left foot flexed. Another twist. Right hand comes behind the back and the fingers point out. Inhale the left arm up by the ear. So we find this beautiful length, and then we twist. Twist from the navel up. And then again, just like the other twist, gradually turning your head. But maybe you've opened up some space. You can bring a block under that back knee to help support. And if it doesn't go over the leg, that's okay. And if it doesn't go over the leg, you can keep it right now. And twisting up. Try and press that right foot down into the mat. Press into the toe ball mount. So rooting down through the big toe. Push that right toe, the ball of the foot, that toe ball mount into the mat, and that helps to create a little bit more space in the pelvic area. One more breath in. And out, and then come through center and counter twist to the left. So a gentle rocking, chest toward the earth. And then rise and release that right leg, windshield wiper the feet, shake the legs out. Again, if the flesh changed at all, by moving the flesh away from the sits bones, we create a rotation so that our pelvis area stays stable when we move into the twist. Draw the left knee into the chest, step it over the right leg. Left hand comes behind and right arm lifts. Keep that right foot flexed as we reach through the right fingertips and then twist to the left. Starting the head in a mostly neutral position and then gently adding, turning the head to look over the left shoulder. And then that toe ball mound of the left foot. Try and press into it. One more breath in. And out, and then come through center as we counter twist to the right, rocking so the chest comes down toward the floor. And then rise back up, release that left foot, left leg, shake it out a little bit, windshield wiper the feet from side to side. And then cross at your ankles, bring your blocks to the front of your mat. Rock forward, coming onto your knees, and the hands come onto your blocks. The blocks are at the lowest height. Take your time. No rush. So we're here in tabletop pose with our hands underneath the blocks, taking a little bit of weight out of our wrists by doing this. And I want you to bring your awareness to the navel again. Draw the navel in and up, and then on your inhale, lift the crown of the head and tilt your tailbone up, finding cow pose. And then your exhale, we round into cat pose. Chin draws toward chest and you tuck your tailbone. Another inhale into cow. Try not to let the belly sag. Try and draw the navel in. And then as we exhale into cat, it's an even more drawing in of the navel. One more, inhaling into cow, lengthening and opening across the shoulders. Draw the shoulders away from the ears. And exhale into cat. And then come to neutral and separate your knees. So your knees are as wide as your mat, and then draw your toes together. Push your seat to your heels with your hands staying on the blocks. You might push the blocks out in front of you a little bit to get a full extension of the arms, and then drop down just low enough where your head is in between your arms. Feel that opening in the shoulders. While we're in child's pose, we also feel the breath really interacting with the rib cage. Feel that expansion of the rib cage. Feel the tension release in the low back, middle back. Inhale as you rise back up to tabletop, knees coming under the hips, and then turn your blocks to the middle height. Extend your right leg back and then draw the right knee into your chest. As you step that right foot forward, bring the blocks a little closer so you're framing your right foot. Your left knee still on the mat, and right knee bending at a 90-degree angle, and then flip your blocks to the highest, bringing them under the shoulders. Stay here, using the blocks for stability, or adding, floating the arms up by the ears, a pose called Anjaneyasana. So we're finding a balance between effort and ease here. Feel the right thigh engaged, your left quadricep engage your glutes. Maybe a lengthening down of the low back, drawing the belly in. One more breath here, inhale. And then exhale the hands down to the blocks, and we're going to stretch out this hamstring by flipping your right toes up, your right heel resting on the mat. Your left hip in line with left knee, and then it's a hinging forward. No pain equals gain. So if there's pain, if there's any compromise of the breath, we ease out of it. If there's discomfort, that you can use your breath to breathe through, moving past the edge, that's different than pain. Lengthening and strengthening this hamstring muscle. When our hamstrings are tight, it's tough to walk. It's tough to get out of bed. Inhale, lift back up, rock on to that right foot. Bring the blocks, middle height again. Frame that right foot, tuck the left toes under, lift that knee off the mat. And we find our low lunge. Keep the left hand on the block as you float the right arm up, opening up into a twist. Stay rooted in that right foot. Left leg lengthening, reach through the right fingertips. One more breath in. You can always come out of a pose before I cue it if you need to. Maybe sink the pelvic floor down just a little bit, and then drop that right hand down. Push off your left foot, bring it forward to meet the right, lift up halfway. Finding a half lift, a flat back here where we Lengthen down through the tailbone. Draw the navel in and up. Float the arms out to the sides and then soften the knees. Dropping your seat to your heels. Float the arms up by the ears, chair pose. Full breath in. And then exhale, straighten the legs, dive forward, forward fold. Inhale, lift up halfway. We float the arms out to the sides again. Soften the knees this time. We come to stand. Straighten the legs, arms float overhead. Hands in prayer, Anjali Mudra, to our heart space. An opportunity to just reset for a moment. Recall your intention. And then lower the arms. Mountain pose, Tadasana. Inhale, float them overhead, and exhale, dive forward. Bringing your hands to the blocks, bend your knees, take that left leg back, and then drop that left knee. So that sequence on the other side, we're gonna take the blocks under our shoulders, finding stability here, our shoulders stack with our hips. Lengthen down through the low back, your tailbone. It drops a little bit. Drawing the belly in. When you feel stable, adding the arms, Anjaneyasana. Gentle pressing into the bottom of the right foot. The gentle pressing into the top of the left foot. One more breath in. Drop the hands to the blocks, hamstrings. Did we do this leg? I am so sorry. All right, so bring that foot to the mat. It's gonna be fun. Tuck your left toes under. Bring your hands to the mat. Take your right leg back. Draw your left knee into your chest. Step that foot forward and drop your right knee down. And then lift back up. Anjaneyasana. I am so sorry, you guys. And then finding Anjaneyasana on this side. Same adjustments. Drawing the belly in. Lengthen down through the tailbone. Hands drop to the blocks. And now we stretch the left hamstring. So the left foot is flexed. Your heel resting on the mat. And you can stay here if you're feeling a deep stretch ready, or the option to hinge forward. Drawing the chest toward that left leg. Where can you soften in this? Can you ungrip a little bit in the pelvic area? Inhale to lift back up, rock onto that left foot, bring the blocks forward to frame that foot, and tuck the right toes under to lift that leg up. Right hand stays on the block. Inhale, left arm up, finding our twist on this side. So that left knee, I know it wants to start bowing out. See if you could draw that left knee back in. Your twist is from the navel up. Try and straighten that right leg. Beautiful. And then lowering the left hand. Push off your right foot, step it forward, and inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Take the arms out to the sides. Bend your knees. Start to bend them a lot, dropping the seat toward the heels. Flip the arms up by the ears, chair pose. Draw the belly in. Next, inhale, straighten the legs. This time, reach up. Reach up through your fingertips, but draw your shoulders away from the ears. Press into the feet, lengthen through the low back. And a gentle arching of the upper back. Just the upper back, the thoracic, upper thoracic. And dive forward, Uttanasana. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, bring your hands to the blocks. Step your right leg back. Lower the blocks to the lowest height. Then step your left leg back, finding a high plank. Full breath in. Full breath out. Feel that engagement in the core, the heat that you're generating. And now slowly transition in a downward dog by letting your hips, your sits bones lead the way. Let your sits bones lift up to the ceiling and push back so that you get a full extension in your arms and in your spine. Beautiful. And then rock forward back to plank and drop your knees down. We're going to come into a pose called pigeon, but I'm going to lead you in a very gentle way. So first thing we're going to do is extend the right leg behind us. And then draw the right knee into your chest, slide it so it comes in between those blocks. So you're sitting on your right heel. And then tuck your left toes under, lift that leg, and then just shimmy it back a little bit so you get more length, and then drop it down. Notice with the blocks how our chest is lifted just like the pigeon. How it has that big chest, right? It puffs it all the time. So now slide the blocks forward. Begin to lower slowly. So maybe you're lowering to your forearms, or maybe the blocks come under the forearms. Everybody feeling this in your hip? So what's beautiful though about getting into it in this gentle way is that it keeps your hips squared. Oftentimes in this pose, we see a rocking off onto one hip. Let yourself surrender into this a little bit deeper. If at any point you need to lift up and then go back down into it, you can. Release tension out of the neck. And then we'll begin to come out. So bring those blocks back under the hands. We want to puff our chest again. And then we're going to rock off. We're going to rock onto this right hip and swing the left leg around in front, setting up for what we call Janu Shirsasana. It's a forward fold. So I'll mirror you. The sole of the foot comes inside the leg. So that leg we swung around is now extended. Everybody there? Nicely done. Flex the toes. Take the arms up by the ears, a slight micro twist to the left, and then a gentle hinging forward. Keep rooted in both sits bones. At the point you're going to round the spine, bring the hands to the floor, and just breathe where you are. Feel an expansion of the rib cage in this fold. And inhale to lift up. Bring the left sole of the foot to meet the right. And just bounce the legs a little bit. Show off your beautiful butterfly. So Sit up nice and tall on your sits bones. Keep bouncing the legs. And then find stillness. Press the feet together. Lift the chest. Inhale up and then reach the chest forward. Inhale, draw the navel into the spine, round the back, come back up to sitting up tall, bounce the legs. Lift the corners of your mouth. Find stillness. Inhale, lift the chest. Lean forward. Draw the navel in, round the spine, chin to chest, and upright. Cross the ankles. Roll back to tabletop so that you're coming back to hands on the blocks, setting up for the other side. So finding tabletop, the blocks are slightly in front of your shoulders. And then we're going to extend the left leg. Draw the knee in, keep sliding it forward. Slide it forward to where it gets to right in between the blocks. Not quite all the blocks. And then start to let your pubic bone drop toward that left heel. Tuck your right toes under, lift that right leg, and just shimmy that foot back a little bit to create some extra length. And then puff your chest. Next, exhale, start reaching that chest forward, moving the blocks to where it's comfortable for you. Surrendering into the side. This side might be very different than the other side. So just without any judgment, breathe in and out. Soften the shoulders and the neck. One more breath in and out. And then next inhale, we start to lift back up. Use those blocks under the hands, puffing the chest, and rocking off onto that left hip, swinging that right leg around so that the sole of the foot comes to the inside. Arms float up by the ears. Slight micro twist to the right. And then start to fold forward. And again, at the point you're going to round, drop the hands and stay at this edge and breathe in and out. You might feel some sensations because we twisted just a little bit in the spine. Use your breath to expand the rib cage. Next inhale lifts you back up and bring the sole of the foot to meet the other one. So same thing before, Baddha Konasana, a little fluttering of the legs, sitting up nice and tall on the sits bones. Try and counter that rounding that all of our daily tasks encourage us to do by lifting the chest. Bring the chest forward a little bit. Keep fluttering the legs. And then find stillness. Inhale, lift the chest, bring it forward. Draw the navel in, rounding the spine. Coming back to upright. Inhale, lifting the chest up, draw it forward. Then draw the belly in, rounding the spine. And upright, extend the legs out in front of you and just shake them out. Windshield wiper the feet side to side. And just shake out the legs. And then we'll come onto our backs. We'll do just a bridge pose that we'll hold for the count of 8. We'll come out of our back bend and do an abdomen twist, and then come into Shavasana. And following a brief Shavasana, then we'll come up for our meditation. So feet are on the mat. Walk your heels back a little bit so you can just about graze the back of your heels with your longest finger. Arms drop to the mat. Turn your toes in toward each other a little bit so that your feet and knees are aligned with your hips. And then on an inhale, press into your feet. Feel those thighs engage, your glutes engage as you lift your hips up toward the ceiling. We're going to hold here. Now, if this is challenging for you to hold, you can bring a block and slide it under your sacrum at the lowest height or at the middle height. And you're welcome to let the sacrum be supported by the block. Your chest is moving toward your chin, and your gaze and your nose are facing the ceiling. And we've got 5 more breaths. Inhale and exhale. Inhale, come back to that Ujjayi breath that we practiced at the start of practice. Inhale, placing that constriction in the back of the throat as you exhale through the nose. If you've used a block, come on off of it. Everybody lower 1 vertebrae at a time. And then hug the knees into your chest. Rock a little bit from side to side. And take the arms out wide like a T. So extending straight out from your shoulders, palms face up, and then keep the knees drawn into the chest. And we're going to rock the knees down to the left side. Let them drop down where the knees are making a 90-degree angle with the calves and the feet. And settling in here, you can keep the head where the gaze is looking up, or you can add a little bit more for the head. You can turn and look out over your right arm. Breathing in. Breathing out. If you need any extra support for your low back, you can slide a block in between the thighs. But notice here where you're gripping. What part of the body are you grasping, trying to hold up? See if you can soften. Let go of that gripping. Next, inhale, start bringing the knees back to center. Come to neutral for a breath. Knees are still hugged in to the chest. Use those abdominal muscles to slowly lower the knees over to the right. And again, making a 90-degree shape with the knees. You might glide the left shoulder under a little bit. That might help soften that side into the twist. And again, option to add the turning of the head, only an option. And if, again, you need any support for the low back, put a block in between the thighs. It really helps. Let that right hip get heavy against the floor so that the left hip can start to get heavy, dropping down. being your own self-study here. It's a practice in Sanskrit. It's called svadhyaya, where we are observing. We're listening to our body. Next inhale brings the legs back up to neutral. Wrap your arms around the legs. Give yourself a hug. Draw the forehead up to your knees. Lowering the head back down, and then feet come to the mat. And just take a moment here to windshield wiper the legs from side to side. So your feet come as wide as the mat in order to do this, and then drop the knees over to the right and over to the left. Slowly over to the right and over to the left. Coming back to center, and then glide one heel out long at a time toward the corners of your mat. Flex your feet and push through your heels to lengthen through the legs, lengthen out through the hip joints, and then arms come out to the sides about 20 degrees away from the body. And then take a moment to press into the backs of the arms. Lift your chest up a little bit and glide your shoulder blades under. That helps the shoulders to roll down toward the earth. And then with each inhale and exhale, allow the middle part of your back, the low back, to settle into the support beneath it. Bring your awareness to your feet, soften in the feet, and then the legs, the knees, the thighs. Moving your way up the body, softening the belly, the chest, softening the arms and the shoulders, the neck. Bring awareness to your face, soften the brow and the cheeks, the muscles behind the eyes, your eye sockets, and opening the mouth wide, letting the lips fall back together, but creating an unlocking of the jaw. Let the tongue be soft in your mouth so that it's not glued against the top of the mouth. And then here in corpse pose, Shavasana, focus on your breath. Your natural inhales and exhales in and out of your nose. Allowing the physical part of your practice to sink in and really be absorbed here. Staying mindful of what we consumed in both our body and mind. And allowing the practice of contentment to start in this moment of stillness. once our physical practice is complete. We invite our mind to become more quiet in the stillness as we withdraw from the outside world and turn inward. The inward gaze, called pratyahara, is the gaze of meditation. So resisting any urge to react to external stimuli, but to try and remain aware of turning within. And then slowly, with very little movement, start to deepen the breath a little bit so that you're able to come back to moving into your meditation seat. So start small, maybe wiggling the fingers, wiggling the toes, circling wrists and ankles, and then starting to hug the knees in toward your chest so that you can then roll to your right side. Rolling onto your right side, it's this fetal position. Your heart is higher so that when you breathe in and out, the energy is moving into the body a little bit. Let the head be soft. Your right arm extended to support the head. Slowly begin to make your way up to a seat. And taking your seat of choice, supporting it as best you can. You can also have the legs extended out in front if that helps you. Taking a few moments to find that seat. And again, that chair is available, or move to the wall if you want the back against the wall. We're going to start off with pranayama, which is any breathing technique where we're placing more control over the breath. I'm going to read this expression that I read in this article: because the wind of the breath, the winds of the mind, and the internal winds of the subtle body are intimately connected. We can settle and quiet the mind by learning to control the breath through pranayama. So we'll do what's called a square breathing technique. Place one hand over your heart, one hand to the belly area. Spread your fingers. Let the elbows just soften against the side body. And we'll inhale to the count of 4. Hold the breath at the top for the count of 4. Exhale for 4. And then hold the breath at the bottom for 4. So I'll guide us in, and then at a point I'll let you take over, silently saying the count to yourself. So take a breath in and empty the breath all the way out. And then inhale, 2, 3, 4, retain, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, retain at the bottom, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, retain, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Retain, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. retain, 2, 3, 4, and exhale, 2, 3, 4, retain, 2, 3, 4. So continue at your own pace. As if you're tracing the sides of a square with your breath. This conscious breathing helps regulate our nervous system, quiets the mind, and gives us the energy for meditation. It's known as the 4th limb in the 8-limb practice of yoga, and prepares us to move into this 5th limb of Pratyahara, where we're able to withdraw from the outside and turn inwards. Keep moving at your own pace. Maybe the retention becomes softer. But still keeping focused on this breathing. After whatever round you're on, release after that last retention at the bottom. Release the hands down. The palms can rest on the knees, or you can flip the palms up for a more receptive mudra. Moving in now to our 6th limb, Dharana, related to our gaze. Dharana means to hold or to keep. So remain steadily concentrated on your inward experience. And try and keep a singular point of focus. It could be on your breath, or it could be visualizing maybe the flame of a candle, or looking out at the ocean. Or it could be silently repeating a mantra. I am, or in Sanskrit, so hum. Holding the inward gaze steadily. As we move into the 7th limb, Dhyana.
is in this stage of contemplative meditation, where we move into what's known as a liminal space, the in-between. The eighth lens samadhi is where we reach full integration. Not as easy as counting to the number 8. But maybe a glimpse or a moment where through the power of meditative concentration and contemplation, you might feel for a moment even sort of a dissolve, if you will, that we're actually doing the meditation versus just becoming one with the meditation. Wiggle your fingers. Start to take a deeper breath in and out, maybe circle the wrists around, and then inhale the arms overhead, take a big stretch, joining the palms together and then drawing them down to your heart space. A soft bow of the head toward your heart. Thank yourself for being here. I thank you for being here. The light in me sees and honors the light that is shining so brightly from you all. Namaste. Thank you all so much. Slowly, slowly. I know, we're all creaking a little. That storm last night.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was a strong one. It's like all over though. Like I think New Jersey, where my dad lives, is getting a ton of rain, like flooding type rain. Yeah. Yeah. So yes, so not as easy as it's an 8-limb path. It's not as easy as counting 1, 2, 3, 4. But it's a beautiful path. It actually starts asana, that physical practice, is just 1 limb. But it's to prepare us to then move in. So the first 4 limbs are very external in nature, designed to, the first 3 really have to do with studying. And then you move into the 4th limb, which is the practice, the physical. And by moving the body in the ways that we did, spinal twists, forward folds, all of them were designed to touch each part of the body to prepare us for meditation. This ability to then turn inward. You feel just for a moment that you just kind of maybe got lost in the inward gaze a little bit. Yeah. Nice. And the world's still going. You didn't miss anything. But you're ready. You're more prepared for it now.
I know I'm capable of it because when I paint, I just lose track of time, you know?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
That's
Good way
a
to get
great.
there. And running, that does it.
Oh
too,
yeah,
right?
a runner's high.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll just get into that zone.
Running again. Oh, you are good, good.